Everyone, welcome to our webinar, Simplifying Copyright Compliance with Reuse Insights. We're very happy that you've joined us today to learn how this tool can help your organization stay copyright compliant. Reuse Insights is an add-on to Article Galaxy and provides a simple way for researchers to search and filter by copyright information, so you instantly know if it's safe to use or not. But I'll not dive all too deep. I'll leave that to our panelists. And talking of which, today's presenters are Jonathan Wilson, VP of Implementations, Customer Happiness at Research Solutions, and Matt Doherty, Customer Engagement Manager at Research Solutions. And my name is Julia Heeson. I'm the Senior Growth Marketing Manager at Research Solutions, and I'm the moderator of our webinar today. So just a couple of housekeeping items. We'll be sending out the recording, so if you want to rewatch a specific part or share it with your colleagues afterwards, you don't have to worry about that. So as soon as the webinar is over, I'll send you an email with the access link. We have live Q&A enabled, so if you click on the Zoom bar below, you can click on Q&A, and we'll have dedicated time at the end of the webinar to answer all of your questions. The webinar today will last about 30 minutes, so we did want to be conscious of your time, but nevertheless, we'll have enough time to get all of your questions answered, and you don't have to worry about background noise whatsoever. You're all muted and without camera, of course. So yeah, you can go grab coffee at any point, and we won't see any of that. So for the ones of you that aren't familiar with Research Solutions, just let me cover a little bit about us. Founded in 2006, Research Solutions has been on a mission to simplify and streamline how organizations discover, acquire, and manage scientific articles and data. With a suite of innovative products, we're empowering researchers worldwide and transforming the way scientific information is accessed and utilized. We also recently acquired Resolute AI, an advanced search platform powered by artificial intelligence and natural language processing, so our product family continues to grow. So we look forward to an interesting and information session. I'll pass it over and yeah, enjoy.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Doherty. I'm a customer success manager here at Reprint's desk. And day in and day out, I'm working with the folks who use Article Galaxy and making sure that we're offering the tools that they need for article retrieval and management. And Reuse Insights is actually a powerful tool that many of our customers have come to rely on. Today, we're really talking about how you can be a good copyright citizen and help maintain copyright compliance within your organization. The Reuse Insights tool brings important article reuse information directly to the people who need it, whether they're browsing the organization's PDF library or requesting a newly published article. Reuse Insights lives throughout Article Galaxy, and we're going to take a look at it in just a minute. Now, copyright compliance can be confusing, not just for end users and researchers, but also for info pros and admins as well. Reuse Insights aims to make it easier to understand and to take appropriate action, all within a single platform. Now, some of the confusion around copyright compliance comes from the fact that there are multiple sources of accurate information as to how an article can be reused. Reuse Insights takes into account these, quote, many sources of truth to make sure that we're providing correct information. And what exactly are these many sources of truth that we're taking into consideration? Well, the first is publisher-supplied licensing data. This is information coming directly from the source. It's coming directly from the publishers, and they're letting us know how their content can be used and reused. The second is going to be customer-supplied licensing data. This is information coming from you, the customer. So if you have a specific relationship with a particular customer or publication, you have tokens or subscriptions, we're going to take all that into account and make sure that that information is illustrated within the platform. The third, and maybe one of the most important aspects of the Reuse Insights tool, is the open access and Creative Commons licenses. So this is going to be information that you're not going to really find anywhere else. And this also comes directly from those publishers. Again, letting us know for those articles that are available via open access and for use in the commercial environment, how that content can be used and reused respectfully. Finally, we take information from reproduction rights organizations. These are organizations like the CCC or the CLA, where we are taking information that you may have with your relationship with them and including that as well. All right, so with that, let's take a look at the software itself. I'm going to pass it over to Jonathan. And again, we do have the Q&A and the chat boxes below. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to write in there and we'll certainly get to them before the end of the session.
Okay, thank you, Matt. As Julia so kindly introduced, I'm Jonathan Wilson. I'm the Vice President of Implementations here at Prince Desk Research Solutions. I have 20 years of industry experience with articles, being an academic librarian and the implementations lead here at Reprints Desk. Today, we're going to dive into how you can use the Reuse Insights tool within Article Galaxy. On my screen now, I do have the landing page for many of you. If you're already a customer, you can log in the top right here. If you're already a customer, you might also be using single sign-on. And if you're not a customer, we do support username, password, and single sign-on for access. Now, I already have my account opened here. So here in this page, just very quickly to mention a few things, the left-hand navigation are the products that I have available. If you're a current customer or a potential customer, just know that you may not see everything on your account if you have this here. Today, we're primarily going to focus on the reuse rights tab here on the left and how it integrates with every aspect of Article Galaxy. Here in the center, we also have our quick search box and the link to the order form. These two links are the same, as well as a customized resource page here, as well as ways of getting in contact with us, seeing any notifications such as product releases, and chat with our customer support. Now, throughout the entire process, reuse rights is present. I'm going to show how you can locate it in a variety of different ways while conducting your literature search and review. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just as a demonstration, I'm going to search for a very quick search term, heart disease here. And from our list of results that come in this instance from PubMed, here at the top, once the results load, you'll be able to see that there is two different types of searches. One is from PubMed, which is loading now. This is an API connection, so it can take a little bit longer. And the other one comes from Crossref. Let me try this again. I might be having internet problems here at home. One of the issues of having, there we go, an office at your house. So PubMed is the results list that we have here. Article Galaxy Search is powered by Crossref. PubMed is a one-to-one API interface. It does have the sorting by most recently added to PubMed. So a lot of these are going to be published oftentimes within a day, if not a recent week. You can see that our searches have a variety of different options for access, such as purchase, rental, open access, and if I scroll down, you can see subscriptions. We work with your company holdings and anything that you have as far as tokens or subscriptions to content. Looking at this first one here, I'm going to click this open access link. And this is where you really get into the copyright compliance piece, especially with open access. Open access is very tricky to navigate sometimes. The two most common accesses that you'll come across when working with open access resources are CC BY and CC BY NC, the NC standing for non-commercial. The reason this is important, depending on how you want to use the article that is open access, some publishers will not allow you to use it for commercial purposes. Here at the point of purchase, I can select my intended use by clicking this caret menu and dropping down this field. The intended use is the copyright use that you have for this purchased article. In this case, being open access, there is no cost, so you don't see a price here. But here I can select from my demo account the 4 most common intended uses that we see customers use. For myself or a colleague within my organization, that's for internal. You can download it for yourself or share it with a colleague within your organization. As a note, our acquired articles through Article Galaxy are DRM free, so you can download and share freely across your organization. The external uses that are next are medical affairs, regulatory, and legal authority. Many times they are covered by the copyright that you have purchased for internal, but our system with the reuse rights will check against all of these as we go through the process. A single copy distribution outside my organization, that is for anyone not related to these top 3 categories. This could be if you're a biopharmaceutical company and you need to submit your research to a doctor's office or other organization not related to your organization or the external uses above. a lot of times you do have to pay individual copyright for each distribution. So in the scenario that I outlined earlier, if you are distributing to doctors' offices, and let's say you have to distribute to 10 doctors, you would have to pay the copyright 10 times. So at point of purchase, I can select the intended use. I can also check the reuse rights. As I said before, it's integrated into every step of the acquisition process here in the top right. The reuse rights for this are granted across. And as I mentioned before, there are two typical reuse licenses for open access. This one is CC BY, which means it can be used by anyone for any purpose. You can see across the board that the reuse rights are granted. So even if I wanted to distribute this article outside my organization, I can do that legally. Looking through a couple of other options on this page, just to mention very quickly, we do, when you select an article, have the option of viewing the abstract, recommended articles, which this is very new, so there are not going to be any recommendations, and Ask Chat GPT summary. As with any AI generated material, please note that this is generated by artificial intelligence, so please review and utilize it appropriately when doing your research. Cited by and citing will also likely not have a result, as this is very, very new, but if there are articles citing or cited by this article, they will be shown here. Now, going through the rest of the left-hand navigation, the order form I did mention, and I want to briefly bring this up. The order form you can use to order multiple copy or multiple articles all at once, or if there's something like a book chapter, you can acquire that here. This is not particularly the focus of today's webinar, but I did want to mention we can acquire materials that may not have a clean DOI or PubMed ID. If you fill out this form, we will get that information back to you on how we can acquire it. Now, again, getting back to the reuse insights, this My Orders is a very common e-commerce site. You can see any orders that have been ordered by you personally here. You can see that we can save the article to references, reorder the article, very easily request supplementary material by simply clicking a link, and again, check reuse rights. This order was canceled, but I can still check the reuse rights on it by clicking this. It takes me to a new page that takes me over to the Reuse Insights UI, and it shows that this is, again, CC BY and granted. Now, this is easy because I can tell here on my own order page the intended use that I ordered for this article. If I'm reusing it, I know that I can use this article for whatever purpose is within the realms of this intended use. However, while this is easy for me to view as a user, Article Galaxy is very, very good in that it stores all acquired materials in your company PDF library. Now, going to the company PDF library, you can see that there is a difference in the information presented. While I can open the PDF acquired by anyone in my organization, this is a full repository, and I do not see what intended uses it was originally purchased for. If I wanted to reuse this article, I don't know what it was originally purchased for. I don't know the copyright we paid. So again, I can very easily click check reuse rights, be taken to the reuse rights pane, and again, this is CC BY. I'm going to go through this very quickly and try to find one that has a little bit different. Let's see if this one works, because I want to show that it does check. Very good. Other intended uses as well. So if I were a user and I did not know how this was originally purchased, and let's say that my organization needed to submit this for medical affairs use, if it was purchased for anything else, which if I click on this, it says granted. So I could use this for within my organization, but if I needed to submit it to medical affairs or a single copyright distribution outside my organization, I would need to pay the copyright for this to distribute to either of these organizations. If it's just an external for whomever or for medical affairs, the American Physiological Society requires me to pay copyright. Again, while in your orders, you may be able to see exactly how you purchased it. This is a way of not only double checking your own use for an article to be copyright compliant, but to reuse the article in a copyright compliant manner for a different intended use than you originally purchased it. While we're on this page, I want to very quickly go over the UI that you see here in front of you. At the top, you can see the metadata for this citation. You can see the publication, the DOI, and PubMed ID. There's also a link to save it to our references, which is our bibliographic utility. as well as the organization, and probably most important is the reuse rights as of a certain date and time. This tells me that on November 2nd, 2023 at 8:13 Pacific time, I was able to use this in this copyright compliant manner. This is important because articles can change from open access to paid and vice versa, and it will make sure that that you have a paper trail on how you utilize this particular article. You can email this page or print it to PDF or paper print if you want to keep a record of when you utilize this, you did it appropriately and you paid the copyright as applicable. There's also a little disclaimer on what are reuse rights. You can see that it tells about the most common ways of submitting for copyright and the types of results that you'll see here. We've seen granted and available via purchase, but you can also request a quote or to be determined, which we will contact you from our customer support, letting you know how you may use that copyright compliantly. Also at the bottom, this request field goes directly to our customer support team. We have customer support that operates 24/7, and they will get back to you from a copyright expert on how you may be able to utilize the article if there's not enough information provided here. At this time, I do want to mention these are just the 4 most common intended uses. We have several more that can be customized for your organization. If you have questions about a specific intended use that is utilized by your organization, please reach out and we'll be glad to answer any question. And if you're an existing customer that needs one added or modified, just let us know. Additionally, these text values here by the radio buttons can be edited. So if it makes more sense to have something customized directly for your organization, we can do that too. This is just generic language that I use on my demo account. Now I'm going to click back to the reuse rights link here on the left. I can also get there by clicking new search, but to show that if I'm going through my left-hand navigation pane, I can get to a search box that will allow me to directly search for reuse within a publication. Now we've seen that throughout the ordering process and the management process, we can simply click the link to go here. But if you just have a DOI or PubMed ID, you can come here and search for it directly as well. You can also search by a publication such as Nature Biotechnology here. And it will tell you based on the publication year, how you can utilize this based on the copyright compliance that is available in our PSRRO tables. Now the ISSN you can also search for here. I will quickly grab this, do a new search, and search for the ISSN, and you can see that is brought up here as well. I can edit the publication year. Some publications change when they move from print to electronic. So if there's a specific year that you're curious about, you can always modify that value here. Additionally, if you go to the new search page, you can search by the PubMed ID or DOI from outside the Article Galaxy system. So if you utilize a third-party resource like Google Scholar, you can pull the PubMed ID and work here. This is also where we can load custom publisher rights. If you have an agreement with a publisher on another license such as CLA, those would show up here under the reuse rights as well. Very quickly, I want to show references, which is our bibliographic utility. You can see the UI changes from the regular Article Galaxy page. This is technically a different product that is part of the Article Galaxy family, but the branding is very similar to what you would see in the main Article Galaxy page. The reason I want to show this is we do have things such as feeds from, these two are from PubMed. Their RSS feeds, you can see that I have new citations available as denoted by the orange circle. This does take a minute to load because there are hundreds and hundreds, but it is nice because as I review my RSS feed, I can see how to reuse it by clicking again this check reuse rights button here. It does take me to the article page for this particular citation and shows me how I can use it. And again, you can see it's CC BY. Back on the results page for my RSS feeds, you can see that there's a get article link here at the bottom. It will populate a field on how to request it. This one, because we've already seen with CC BY, it is open access to acquire. Adding a feed is very easy. You click on the add new RSS feed here at the bottom, give it a title, provide the URL from your discovery service, and hit save. A quick note, this is mainly for scientific literature, so things like music streaming and news websites may not work with this RSS feed. Again, my company PDF library is available here, and any information that I may have from a discovery import, such as PubMed or Google Scholar, or I drag and drop from my PC, would be available here as well. You can see that some of these articles I have dragged and dropped from my PC, which are in a shared folder here, and I can check that since I uploaded this file, you can see that my file name is numeric. It did not come from Article Galaxy. I dragged and dropped it from my desktop computer, and I can also check that if I acquired this, how I can use the reuse rights, even though it came from outside of Article Galaxy. Not only is this useful from within the references utility, it is also useful for when you have an ingestion or your administrators add articles to your PDF library, you can check the reuse rights there, even if they were not acquired through the Article Galaxy platform. Lastly, I want to showcase our extension. We have an extension for these 4 major browsers. I already have mine installed, but just to show, this is a smart link that will take you to whichever browser you're using to their add-in store, and you can install the browser here. So going back to my homepage, I do want to showcase something like Google Scholar. Google Scholar does not have a discovery import for many options that are available. However, our extension, which you see has popped down here from the top because it has located DOIs or other identifiers on this page, shows that there are 10 articles on this page that can be searched within Article Galaxy. If you're like me and you don't like the pop-down browser, you can change the settings under options here or simply click the X and it becomes a much less imposing radio button here on the side. If I click on this, it will load the data for the browser. This does take a second because not only is the extension checking the information on this page, it is checking the information on this page against open access filtering, your holdings, and the PDF library that is available. As this loads, I do want to caution you that the UI will look a little bit different. It is the same information that is available in Article Galaxy. However, it is going to be a little change in the UI. So you can see here, like I said, the information is a little bit different. However, here at the top, I can still change my intended use. And if I click one of the, ooh, that's fun. One of the options here, I don't know why it's doing the error every time I change, but I can click check reuse rights and see that it is granted for these different options. And so you can see a lot of these are open access, but some of them may not be part of a collection that I can reuse for this intended use. But I can always check that if I'm utilizing this to do discovery work in something like Google Scholar. To mention, our extension will work with other tools such as PubMed. If I do a quick search there for that same search topic, you will see that the pop down will come down from the top and I can do the same steps there. Additionally, if you do utilize the third-party discovery system, we do work with OpenURL, which will provide a link back to the Article Galaxy platform, allowing you to purchase or acquire the article from our platform, which is helpful because even though this article is open access, acquiring it through our platform will add it to your PDF library. And if there's anyone that searches for this article again, it will show up under duplicate detection, so you won't repurchase it. For open access, that doesn't matter a terrible amount, but for purchase articles, it is very handy to not purchase the same article, especially when you have a group of researchers working on the same topic. Okay, I see that we have some QA in chat. I will keep sharing. Julia, do you want to maybe field some questions for me that I may be able to answer?
Yes, absolutely. Let me share my screen just a moment.
Here.
Back.
Absolutely.
Just a second. Thank you. Here we go. So yeah, we did actually get a few questions. One of it is, one question was, I don't see reuse kind of on that left-hand side that Jonathan, you just shared. So if you are an existing customer and you didn't see that option enabled, I'm adding a link in the chat here in just a moment, as soon as I get my mouse back. And where you can head to researchsolutions.com/sales. And if you fill out that form, it'll automatically connect you with your account manager. Of course, if you know where your account manager is, you can also email them directly and ask how to get that added. They will be able to help you. If you're not an existing customer and you have additional questions, you want to try this out, you can use that same /sales link, and then we'll get you connected to someone from our team. You can get an additional demo, you can show it to more colleagues, and then we can talk about how to get you to be one of our new customers. So something I also wanted to show you is we do organize quite a lot of webinars, and there's one I specifically wanted to call out. So we'll be live next week with this webinar for effective strategies to empower your research team with Article Galaxy references. So Article Galaxy references integrates with reuse of what you just saw. We'll dive deeper into that next week. So if you're interested in learning about references, you do not have that enabled yet either. I'll add a link here in just a moment as well, so you can sign up for the webinar if that sounds interesting to you. Now, with that being said, let me stop sharing my screen again, add those links, and we'll dive right into the questions.
All right.
Okay, just added the links here. And let me pull up questions as Jonathan, you pull up your screen again. Okay, so the first question that I see is, there seems to be a limited number of intended uses. How can I add more?
Yeah, so the number of intended uses, and I'll just grab a PubMed ID and go to search. These are just the most 4 common. We have up to 16 that are available. These are just the 4 common ones that I show, because most of the time people use this. But we do have intended uses for things like using this in a presentation, distributing internally through a SharePoint site. It gets very granular with how you can use things as far as intended uses are concerned. If there's something that you're looking for, we probably already have it. As I said, 16 is a pretty wide number of intended uses for article reuse. But we'll be glad to talk to you about your needs if that's something that you're looking for. But yes, we can customize quite a few based on the needs of your organization.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your question. The next one is, what about copyrights for single figures, tables, graphs from published articles?
So that would be something you could contact using the help button here at the top. That will connect you with our customer support team. If you do have a question about reusing something specific from an article, you can do that. However, most of the time, if something is part of an article, you can reuse it. But again, if it's something unique, like I need to use this chart or image in a presentation, these are limited to just my demo ones. We can include that as well. So you'll know that you can reuse the content from the article in something like a presentation. Additionally, we can load things like your CLA licenses, which often has that information included as well.
Great. Okay, the next one is, in your company PDF library, does it apply to all publishers? Meaning, if an article is downloaded once, can I then reuse that article again without paying for it again?
Yes. So the only exception to that is this single copy distribution outside my organization. For each one of those that you see that you need to use, you would have to pay that copyright each time. As the example I gave, if you're needing to send to 10 doctors' offices, you'd have to pay copyright 10 times. However, if I take this article, which I already have acquired on my account, which is part of my PDF library, and I click reuse rights here, I can see, because I've paid the copyright once for it, I can reuse it for any of these reuse rights that have been granted. And you can see it just says accept and open. I can reuse it for medical affairs 100 times, or regulatory or internal. I've paid the copyright, and now I have access to use this however many times I need by paying that copyright. But again, you'll see that if I click this one, I do have to pay for each distribution outside my organization $32.
Awesome. Okay, here's the next interesting question. How is the Article Galaxy Reuse Insights different than me going to my license today and looking things up?
So you can do that. Absolutely. Your license is yours as an organization. However, the reuse insights that we have custom publisher supplied reuse reproductive or online resources. If I got PSRRO wrong, I apologize. That's a hard acronym for me to remember. But we reach out to the publishers directly. We know exactly what you can and can't use down to a granular level with each publisher. Our licensing are also built into our platform at no additional cost. So that is one of the benefits that we find that our users are really appreciative of, is that there is no additional cost for knowing how these intended uses work. Reuse rights is an additional cost to your platform to use the UI and these options. However, when purchasing, you still have that information provided to you when you select your intended use You can see here that even though I'm not using the reuse rights UI, I do have that information available to me at the point of purchase. So, and additionally, we can load external licenses into our system for another layer of copyright compliance that you can check directly from our reuse rights UI. I don't have a custom license loaded in mine, but there is an option available here to check an external license as well. So not only do we have direct publisher agreements, direct publisher relations, and can load in any external licenses as well as custom publisher rights granted. So if your organization has an agreement with Wiley that you can use in presentations, we can absolutely load that custom one into your account. So we're not limited by just knowing like the CLA only knows this. We can actually layer that information on top of everything else. And additionally, we have the industry leading open access filter to know what open access articles are available.
Amazing. So we're 1 minute over. I do want to ask this one last question to get all of your questions answered, but then we'll wrap up here after that. So the last question is, if my company were to license this, is this tool something that our team could be trained on?
Yes, absolutely. Your account executive, such as Matt Doherty here, myself, anyone on our team will be glad to do any training that you would require for it. My team can customize and set it up for you with the reuse rights that you need, and any training can be done, recorded, and then on my homepage here, you can see we place any Article Galaxy training under your resources link for access to any user who may need to revisit or wasn't able to visit the original training.
Amazing. Well, great last question. Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for showing us reuse insights. Thanks everyone for joining, and really hope to see you next week on the Article Galaxy References webinar. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.